Did you get my email? Okay.
Yeah. We'll say a blessing all together.
You have 1 minute to light a Shabbat candle. Come light a Shabbat candle. Quick. Take the ramp. Please take the ramps. Otherwise, we're going to be putting up walls around this bima. Yes. Everyone thinks it's funny, but people keep falling. Board members, be a good example.
Hi, Shabbat Shalom. Good to see you. I know. I don't even correct people because it's so easy to. Hi. Good. How about you? Genius. Careful. You can use the.
No, it wasn't that.
Yeah.
Rabbi?
If everyone could grab a seat, we're going to get started. If everyone could grab a seat, yeah, I'll take one. Why not? Because I know it's got. Thank you very much, Susan.
That one. Yeah.
Service is led by. If everyone could take a seat. If everyone could take a seat. Oh, these rowdy congregants. If everyone could take a seat, I'm going to keep trying.
Sit down.
Hello, Tina. I'd like to say that last week we had 200 people in this sanctuary, about 300 at Purim. It was a nice turnout. Next week is our Tish, and I'm hoping for at least 100 people to our Tish. If you have not yet RSVP'd to the Tish, please do so by Wednesday because we need to buy enough food. The Tish is an elongated Shabbat dinner where we do a lot of what we do during the service over the dinner instead of over the service. It is a lot of fun and begins at 5:30 next week. I'm mentioning this now. It'll also be mentioned during announcements. But next week, 5:30 Tish, I even heard that there will be brownies and mandel bread. We have a good possibility of that now. I've been reading the text. And Costco chicken? What? Pasta?
Kasha?
I can't hear everyone talking at once. My hearing's shot. All right. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat shalom.
It is great to see everyone here this evening. It is Shabbat, and the weather is changing. And I'm glad to be inside this warm sanctuary. And we've come together to do a little prayer tonight. So let's take a moment. Let's feel the warmth of community, whether the community is sitting in these pews or is watching us over the internet. Let's take a moment and feel Shabbat. And let's take a moment and take a deep breath in and out. In and out. In and out. Whatever stresses we might have felt as we walked into this sanctuary, let's release those stresses. Let's say goodbye to them as we welcome Shabbat. Let's feel the communality or the community that comes with Shabbat and the warmth that comes with Shabbat. It's my honor to be working with Hallie again tonight. She is always a joy to work with on the Bima, and I believe she's going to teach a new song.
Yeah.
And it's found inside our little Shalom sheets.
Yes, everyone should have gotten a printout. I actually learned this song at my Jewish summer camp. We would sing it at Shabbat services there, and I always really liked it. And so I thought maybe we just change it up a little bit this week. So the Hebrew is Olam Chesed Yibaneh. And the first part goes like this. Ooh, yadadai, dadai, dadai. Let's all try that. Ooh, yadadai, dadai, dadai. Now we'll put the words to it. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dadai, dadai. We'll do that again. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dadai, dadai. And then it goes up. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dadai, dadai. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dadai, dadai. Now we're going to put the English words to it. I will build this world from love. Yadadai, dadai, dadai. And you must build this world from love. Yadadai, dadai, dadai. And if we build this world from love, yadadai, dadai, dadai, then God will build this world from love. Yadadai, dadai, dadai. Olam chesed. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dadai, dadai. Olam chesed yibaneh. Yadadai, dadai, dadai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, dadai, dadai. Olam chesed yibaneh, yadadai, dadai, dadai. Back to ooh. Ooh, yadadai, dadai, dadai. Ooh, yadadai, dadai, dadai.
Thank you. That was beautiful. We turn to page 138 for Lachado D. And we'll be welcoming in our Sabbath bride as we sing this song. We'll be welcoming her in to join us in joy and in gladness and in peace. We welcome her in because we want her to be part of our Shabbat celebration. And so we'll be doing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9 tonight, rising on that last verse as she walks through the doorway and enters our hearts and our lives. Lachado D, page 138.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. 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 Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, Yishmi'anu el hameyuchad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shemo tiferet v'litchila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelcha, ki hi mekor habaracha, merosh mikedem nesucha, sof ma'aseh b'machshavat chila. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri, kiva orech kumi uri, shir daberi, kavod Adonai alayich nigla. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela.
Please rise and face the back door if you are able.
Boi v'shalom ha'ateret bala, gam besimcha uv'tzoch toch emunei am segula. Boi kala, lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela.
You may be seated. We turned to page 142 for Shalom Aleichem. So we just invited in the Sabbath bride. Now we're going to invite a few angels. The Sabbath bride remains with us all weekend. She's part of our celebration. But those angels come and they bless us and then they move on. They don't stay with us for beyond a few moments. So we have to take a moment and we have to think about angels coming into our lives. We have to think about angels coming into this room. Angels laying their wings upon us and giving us blessings. So let's take a moment and think about what blessings we need this week. What does an angel need to say to you? Do they need to offer you strength or love or hope, good health? Maybe the energy to dance the night away? What is the angel going to say to you specifically? When we get to the verse that says, Barchuni, that they are blessing you. So when you hear that word Barchuni within this melody, think to yourself, right now, the angel is blessing me with these words. Shalom Aleichem, page 142.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Bolechem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech, malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Barchuni leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech, malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Tzidchem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech, malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu.
I'm going to ask the Nybergs to come forward tonight to light our Shabbat candles. Please come on forward. As we light our candles, the angels depart, but that Sabbath bride enters that gateway created by these two lit candles. It's a gateway of light, it's a gateway of hope, it's a gateway of love.
Ya la 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 la, 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 ya la 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner. Shel Shabbat.
So what I love about Purim is I try to keep Purim going for as many Shabbats as I can. Find it much more interesting to talk about than Passover or Shavuot or Sukkot. So I've got another little Purim introduction to share because I think Purim has a lot to teach us. And so the rabbis determined that the true miracle of Purim, what do you think the true miracle of Purim was? Any guesses? Sorry? We saved the Jews again. Okay. I think, that's not a bad guess. And actually, according to the rabbis, the true miracle of Purim was that every Jew in the kingdom of Shushan kept a secret. Can you imagine, if I told you guys a secret now, how long do you think it would last? Maybe 5 minutes after services before the whole community knows? So the whole community of Shushan came together, the Jewish community, and they knew that Mordechai was Jewish. He was one of the Jewish leaders. They knew his niece. They knew his niece went into the king's palace to hopefully become the queen. And yet, no one spoke of it. Because as we know from the story, it wasn't until Ahasuerus said, "You're Jewish? I didn't know that." The secret was kept. And when we think about achieving, we achieve by working together, by working in unison. And that's what the Jews of this community did. No one said a word. They knew the truth, but they knew that if they said something, Esther would have been disqualified from this competition. They knew that she would have been found out. Haman might have, tried to get rid of her before he actually tried to get rid of all the Jews. So by working together, by keeping the secret together, they actually created an outcome that was good for all. So we have to remember, when we come together to work together for a better, greater good, because that's what the people did. So now we're going to turn to page 146. We're going to find the Barhu, and if we're physically able, we're going to stand up and face the ark. And if not, we're going to let our hearts rise with everyone who's physically standing. We are on page 146 for our call to worship.
Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Yai la 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 la. Barechu et Adonai Hamevorach Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Hamevorach Leolam Vaed Hamevorach Hamevorach Leolam Vaed.
Please remain standing. Take one hand and cover your eyes. Focus on a connection to your heart, connection to your soul, a connection to the person to your left or to your right. Focus on a connection to this community. Because the Shema talks about connection, it talks about unity. And if we're not focused on these ideas, then we are truly not understanding or praying the Shema. Please.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Vaed.
You may be seated. Does anyone want to pretend to be the bar bat mitzvah today and lead us in the Vahafta? Okay, I'm going to ask Callie to do it. We are on page 154. My apologies.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך. ושיננתן לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתן לאות על ידך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
We turn to page 158 for the Michamocha. As an introduction to the singing of this prayer, why don't we read the English translation together? So page 158 in the middle, let us read together. Who is like you, O God, among the gods that are worshipped? Who is like you, majestic in holiness, awesome in splendor, working wonders? Your children witness your sovereignty, the sea splitting before Moses and Miriam. This is our God, they cried. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Thus it is said, Adonai redeemed Jacob from a hand stronger than his own. Praise are you, Adonai, for redeeming Israel. Michamocha, the top of 158.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה ומרים, זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
Inside our little shalom sheets for Hashki Venu. Hashki Venu reminds us that God protects us as we sleep. And the prayer in its long form speaks about how God, will give us back our soul each morning. Because as we sleep, our souls travel to heaven, and God refreshes them, renews them, and then returns them safely to us. Hashki Venu.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu L'Shalom, L'Shalom, V'hamidenu Shomreinu L'chaim, Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha, Ufros Aleinu Sukat Shlomecha. Amen. Shelter us beneath thy wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, O Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, all wrong from right, O Adonai. Amen. 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 O Adonai. Amen.
We turn to page 371 for the Misha Berach prayer. We say the Misha Berach for those who are ill of mind, body, or spirit. This week on our Misha Berach list, Sharon Friedman, Erwin Ames, Linda Sage, Jerry Lauterstein, Joan and David Weitzner, Michael Ryder, Fred Strauss, Kendra Reams, Jack Cunningham, Catherine R. Salibi, Jeffrey Albaum, Pam Branner, Stephen Howard, Mark Jeff, Pearl Taylor, Nancy Velez, Norman Fox, Lauren Kleinrock, Jim Harrison, Megan McMiller, Dory Glazer, Suzo Sukuwiecki, Georgia Levenberg, Danielle Cohen, Randy and Brian Rubin, Larry Rinaldi, Consuelo Pasantes, and Janice Semyon. We also think of those in Israel, those affected by acts of anti-Semitism and bigotry, those healing from all too frequent gun violence, those affected by terrorist attacks, and all those caring for the ill. If you have an additional name for our Misha Berach list, please share it with me now. Misha Berach Avotenu V'Imotenu. May the God of our ancestors grant a refuah shlema, a complete and full healing to all those named tonight and to all those we hold in our hearts. And together we say,
Amen.
Amen. The singing of Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu Makor HaBracha the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Makor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Please rise for the Amidah if you're able to rise. We are on page 164. We stand and face the ark. Prayer invites God's presence to suffuse our spirits, God's will to prevail in our lives. Prayer may not bring water to parched fields, nor mend a broken bridge, nor rebuild a ruined city. But prayer can water an arid soul, mend a broken heart, and rebuild a weakened will. We are on page 164.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Konei Hakol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei v'Neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mehaye hakol atah, Rav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chaim bechesed, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לשני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה להחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי הכל, אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
We continue silently through page 180. When you're done with your silent prayer, you may be seated.
עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. סלם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלם, סלם, סלם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלם, סלם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. סלם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלם, סלם, סלם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלם, סלם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם.
As I said earlier, Purim isn't over yet. It just can't be because it's just way too much fun. Just a week ago, we were in costume, we paraded around the sanctuary, we heard selections of the Megillah, and we watched a highly entertaining Purim spiel, and of course, we ate too much food, and some of us might have had a little too much drink. But Purim is a time to let loose, so we let loose. I have to admit, I can never understand why we have 10 days of awe or 7 days of Passover, but only 1 day of Purim. I think we should make Purim last a lot longer and shorten the other holidays. I'd be for the 3 days of awe, maybe the 2 days of Passover and the 6 days of Purim. I think that would be a better balance. Purim does a much better job of taking us away from the daily stresses of our lives. It allows us to dress up, feast, and just have fun. And that's what we did last week. And that's what we do every Purim, no matter how dark the world around us might seem. Because yes, anti-Semitism is on the rise. And yes, Israel is in a war. And yes, it is a difficult time to be a Jew and a Zionist. But Purim reminds us to take a few deep breaths, to blow off some steam, to enjoy ourselves. And to enjoy ourselves is not an idea that we just made up 2 years ago or 10 years ago at Kol Tikva. It's found in our tradition. If we take a look at the Megillah itself, it says, like the days when Jews rested from the enemies and the month of Adar was turned from sorrow to joy, we should turn these days into days of feasting and joy. And the Babylonian Talmud teaches us, with the arrival of the month of Adar, we should be happy. And then we even learn in the Jerusalem Talmud that, at some point, both Yom Kippur and all other holidays except for Hanukkah and Purim will be annulled. That's a great world. Just Hanukkah and Purim will be the only holidays left. Because it's believed that in the days to come, when the world is finally perfected, we won't be celebrating Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. We'll be celebrating the fun holidays. I have to admit, I like the way our texts think. So we celebrate. We celebrate, with joy in our hearts. But what are we celebrating? We're celebrating a victory over oppression. We're celebrating the bravery of a young woman and her uncle. We're celebrating a reversal of fortune from death of a community to a heightened status within that same community. And of course, we're celebrating a moment where we could take a deep communal breath, because for a moment, we weren't scared. For a moment, we felt safe and protected. And over the course of Jewish history, that doesn't happen that frequently. And that's because Jewish history is filled with sad and frightening times. The destruction of the first and the second temple, our expulsion from Spain, and so many other countries. Blood libels, and of course, the Holocaust. Our list could go on and on of our tragedies, of those things that have saddened and scared us. We don't find many moments of victory in our history where we can celebrate and joy. So when we find them, we honor them. We honor them at Hanukkah, at Lag BaOmer, at Israel Independence Day, and of course, during Purim. So during Purim, what does our celebration look like? How do we celebrate about this victory? Well, we give away baskets of food to our friends. We give charity to the poor. We hear the Megillah, the story of our victory. And we feast, which includes eating and, in theory, a lot of drinking. So our tradition teaches us that when we celebrate a victory over our enemies, we need to share some shekels with the poor, to share some food with our friends, to remind ourselves the details of our story, and finally feast to the point of being stuffed. But let's remember that the foundation to this celebration is a victory based on a powerless community becoming powerful. We had no power in Persia, yet through a series of brave actions, we became powerful. And we tell this story year after year to remind ourselves that no matter how desperate a situation might seem, there is always hope. Our enemies knew the power of the story of Esther. In March 1941, following the Nazi occupation of Poland, Adolf Hitler not only banned the reading of Esther and noise-making at the mention of Haman, but also ordered that all synagogues be barred and closed for the day of Purim. His awareness of the holiday and its significance was made clear as well in his speech of January 30th, 1944, in which he announced that if the Nazis were defeated, the Jews could celebrate a second triumphant Purim. And before Hitler's decree banning Purim, the Jews of the 1930s knew that Hitler was a modern-day Haman. Well, actually, Hitler made Haman seem fairly innocuous by comparison. But Rabbi Joachim Prinz, in his book, The Secret Jews, which is about the Jews in Germany in the latter half of the 1930s, this rabbi wrote, "When Haman's plot was announced, It bore a strange resemblance to Hitler's plot to wipe out the Jewish people. Then the turning point came in the Esther story. Haman was exposed to disgrace and death. Never have I heard such applause in a synagogue when the names of the 10 sons of Haman were read, describing their hanging from the gallows. Every time we read Haman, the people heard Hitler, and the noise was deafening. We know that Haman is a stand-in for all of the evil leaders who have tried to destroy us. And we know that each generation has to battle a Haman in order to retain their freedom. And we can only hope that one day there will be no Haman which we need to battle, and that we only have joy and celebration and victory to focus upon. Now, the story of Esther is the quintessential story of Judaism. She and her uncle Mordecai did not wait for a divine command from God to save the Jewish people. They knew what had to be done. Their actions became holy actions, godly actions, because they took it upon themselves to be the protectors of their Jewish community. While God is never mentioned directly in the story, holiness is the theme. If holiness means taking action. And I so believe that is true. By taking holy actions, Esther brought safety and security to her people. And I often talk about God working through us and being present by the work of our hands, our minds, our hearts. Esther definitely created a holy moment for the Jewish community because of her actions. So as we say a second or third goodbye to Purim for another year, let us remember that being persecuted has been a trope throughout Jewish history. But there's another trope that immediately follows, one of defending ourselves in order that we may survive as a people. And you could probably add a third trope, which is the celebration, which always follows. My blessing for you, may you be like Esther and Mordecai, who did what they needed to do in order to protect their community, and then celebrated their survival with joy in their hearts. And together we say, and it is my honor to ask Roland to come forward to share some announcements. It's always a little scary when Roland's here because he's the most entertaining speaker we have.
Thank you. Thank you. That's a tough sermon to follow. Thank you for all that you do for the temple and your sermons, and you look wonderful, Tatala. It's just great to have you here. And you know how much I personally love you. I actually walked into your office and said, I'm so tired, and realized that this is what tonight is about, is rejuvenating, starting the weekend fresh. Thank you. And you, it's just wonderful to have you back, and with no instruments, nothing, just singing, and you have such a beautiful voice, and we always love having you, obviously, here. And then James, as always, thank you so much for the sound and video tonight, and thank you at home for joining us, and all of you in our live studio audience. Thank you for coming tonight. If anyone at home would like to join us, it's free. I thanked you all. Okay. The Tish, Rabbi explained what the Tish is. It's going to be wonderful. It's a lot of fun. It's festive. It's noshing and Sabbath, two things that go together so well for us. And then I do want to announce this seriously. Chris Wilson, who is one of our own, she's a nurse, attorney, a biophysicist, and our senior outreach, I'm sorry? Bioethicist? Okay. Yes. I still don't know what it means, but no. So she is going to be with Stephanie Elkins, who is our senior outreach advocate. They'll be teaming up to bring a very important, so important we're offering it twice, workshop on advanced healthcare planning. This is for all adults. Life happens, and so make sure that what you want is in writing. Not like my aunt who put Post-its over things in her house. So please come. It's Sunday, April 14th or Tuesday the 16th. In all seriousness, this is something that really helps as life happens. Did I forget anything? No, I think that's it. I just do quickly want to say that everybody who put the poker night together, who did the gala, who did the golf tournament, you did an amazing job, and we thank everyone who participated. All of that helps the people in this temple, it helps the temple, and we thank you sincerely. Back to you.
Thank you, Roland. Thank you, Roland. We turn to page 598 for the Mourner's Kaddish. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. On our recently departed list, Ernesto Tan, remembered by the Medina family, Sharon Fisher, remembered by the Fisher family, Sarah Knopf, remembered by the Brown, Knopf, and Gouze families. We also hold in our prayers those taken by gun violence, those that have passed through the floods, fires, and other natural and unnatural disasters, the hostages we have lost along with those killed in the current Mideast conflict, and those that have no one but us to say Kaddish for them. We also think of those who died during this season in years past. David Braverman, Rose Chapnick, Albert Chermak, Morris Epstein, Odette Terrell Levy-Flesh, Helen Greenspan, Lloyd Greenwald, Walter Kelly, Arlene Lynn, Lillian Marcus, Sandra Morris, Nikki Pasternak, Sylvia Rosenkrantz, Barbara Salwin, Benjamin Sassoon, Joseph Scherb, Virginia Stoll, and Ben Tilsner. If you have an additional name for our Kaddish or Yortzeit list, please share it with me now. If you're in the first 7 days of mourning, Shiva, I ask you to please rise. If you're in the first 30 days of mourning, Shloshim, I ask you to please rise. If you're in the first year of mourning, I ask you to please rise. If you're observing a Yortzeit, please rise. These are the mourners in our midst. We rise to show them our love and our support. We are on page 598. Yitgadal v'yikadash shmei Rabbah, v'alma divrach hirutei v'amlech malchutei, v'chayachon v'yimechon v'chayei t'chol Beit Yisrael, v'agalav yizman kari v'imru. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarak le'olam olamei amaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitroman v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei d'kudsha baruchu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. May the one who makes peace on high grant peace to all who mourn, to all Israel, and to all humankind. And together we say, you may put down your books, put your arms around the people next to you. If you do not know them, introduce yourself and ask permission first. We're going to do our closing song, and then we'll do Kiddush and Hamotzi.
Say shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu. Oh, say shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu. Oh, say shalom bimromav, uyaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Lord Lorene, come on forward and hold our Kiddush cup tonight. Lorene, put down your microphone, your walkie-talkie, whatever it is. Come join us. She was ready to run out the back door, I could tell. Lorene, past president, current executive director. For those of you that don't know her, anyone not know Lorene, though? I'm going to hold up our imaginary Kiddush cups nice and high. And here we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen.
I'm going to ask Lorene to uncover the challah and to take the tray and stand in front of the bima. We're going to try something a little different tonight. And then I'm going to ask everyone to come and surround Lorene for the hamotzi. So everyone come forward, but you're going to walk on down the ramp and stand in front. Instead of doing it on the bima, we're going to do it on the floor tonight, trying to bring back some traditions. I know but we'll see if we'll continue with this or not. All right, here we go. If everyone could place your hand on the shoulder of the person next to you so we're all connected, and then connect to Lorene, who's holding the challah, because Jews love to connect physically, and we love to connect with food. So this accomplishes both goals at once. And I know that Pam will lead our yummy, yum, yum. Let's all point at the challah and go, yummy, yum, yum.
Yum, yum, yum.
Here we go.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'te'avon.
Give someone a hug, give them a kiss, wish them Shabbat Shalom, and come get a little bit of challah while Lorene is still holding it.